Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the movie, and they discuss it. Today, we're talking about the 2018 film Hereditary, which was directed by Ari Aster. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Erik.
Oh my god.
I'm joking. This movie, man. This movie.
So depressed. You sound so depressed.
I am depressed after watching this one, dude. This one hit hard.
Yeah, this is definitely, you need something to cleanse your palate after this one.
Even if you were to take the demon stuff out of it and you were just to do like the family being a family, it's still terribly depressing.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, yeah, obviously it's like it starts off with the funeral, the death of her mother. I mean, obviously it's just traumatic, but then you start to learn about how like her brother committed suicide and her father starved herself to death. So like, yeah, you're right. Even before the ghost and demon shit, that's happening.
Yeah, this movie, dude. Like, it's funny because we had Matt Banner on last episode for The Fly, and we spun this movie, and he's like, "Oh, dude, get ready." And I'm like, he really hyped it up for me. I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "Dude, just get ready, this movie." And yeah, he wasn't wrong because afterwards I was like, I gotta watch. We've done before, like palate cleansers, where it's like I just gotta watch like SpongeBob or Rick and Morty, and just like try to like get my mind off of this stuff that my brain just saw a lot of horrendous things all at once and like within an hour. It's a lot of bad visions, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, obviously, it's very uncomfortable. The best word I can think of is uneasy. You're gonna feel very uneasy after watching this movie.
It takes a very skilled director and edit team and cinematography, like everything to make this movie what it is. Like, how do you go on set? It's like, okay, now like, are you gonna cut your head off with piano wire and like make it look really bad, like it really hurts, but like you're demon, so it doesn't hurt. Like how do you do that day to day? Now
This
you're gonna
is
cut the head off the pigeon, but like you're gonna like use scissors and like, oh, dude, like.
Yeah. I mean, so this is basically this director's directorial debut. I mean, it was very similar
It's
to
fantastic. It's one of a kind for sure.
yeah, and it's very similar to like Robert Eggers who did The Witch, and it's the same production company, A24. So like they're really doing some awesome stuff and they're taking a lot of chances on first-time directors, and it seems to be really paying off, I think. I
I
mean,
think so too. And you want to talk about original movies, A24. Like there's no like slasher, there's no like generic stuff they're doing. It's always something unique.
yeah, we've done a lot of their movies, and every single time obviously they did The Lighthouse, and they did, what was another one they covered on here? The Witch, and I'm sure there's a few others we've done, but every single one, it's so good. And there's, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They're so original, so well shot.
Disturbing. Some of them are just, I don't know about all their movies, but some of the ones we've watched are pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
The imagery and visuals they show are just like, it sticks with you.
Yeah. This is one of the first recent films that makes me feel like an old film, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, where like when it's over, you're just like, oh my God, like, oof, what did I just watch? Like this
Yeah.
is kind of like that. And the same, I don't think you've seen it, but his follow-up film, Midsummer, have you seen that?
I have it. I think that's on
Uh-huh.
that's going to be on one of the other wheels someday.
Yeah, very good and very similar to this. So you're just like, oh my God, like when, when it's over, you're
Oh
like, I just want
man.
to. But well, I mean, overall, did you like it?
Uh, I wouldn't watch it again just because I know
Really?
how bad I felt afterwards. It takes a special type of movie to make someone feel that way, and it did what it meant to do, and it really like it gutted me a little bit. It was brutal, dude. It was brutal. Like the scene with at the end scene, the last like 5 minutes are just like, oh my God, what the hell? And then you go back to like the Charlie getting her head knocked off by the telephone pole or whatever.
Yeah.
Brutal, just like him in the
That
classroom and having like a stroke, getting and bashing his face in the desk. Like there's a lot of that stuff that just like I want to erase that from my memory.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's uneasy everything, but I mean, I don't know. Let's kind of go through it. I mean, I think there's
Sure.
so much going on in this movie. The first thing we find out from this like obituary from the opening thing, it basically says that like this mother just died. She's survived by these few people, but it even mentions the deaths already in that one. It's like her deceased son or deceased husband, so she's survived by this family. So we get to learn about what that is. So from what I gather, at the funeral, you see like that creepy dude staring at Charlie. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's one of the cult people.
Yeah. So at the end or whatever. So I think they've been watching this family basically since all of them have been born, but that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe you figured this out, but it seems like the demon skipped Peter and went into Charlie by accident, and now they were trying to get it out of Charlie and put it back into Peter because it wanted to be a man and because it was payment.
It needed a male host. It needed a male body and a perfect body because Peter's healthy. Charlie's not. And Charlie also has allergies and she's not the perfect host. And also Payman wants to be a male host. What I gathered was the grandmother was part of this cult, the demon group of people. A lot of them were at her funeral. I think the grandmother was very close to Charlie and not close to Peter from what the mom said. The mom said, I kept Peter away from my mom, this and that, because I didn't want her filling Peter's head, but I gave her Charlie more when she got older and this and that.
Well, they were estranged. They were estranged when Peter was born, so he wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. So now like she gets closer to Charlie, and we kind of see that rubbing off a bit where I think Charlie knows what the hell's going on because she's kind of making these toys and stuff, and she's also cutting the heads off of pigeons, and she's also noticing people at the funeral. There's someone there also putting something on the lips of the body of the grandma. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
So and Charlie saw that too and wasn't alarmed or anything. She just looked. It's like she knew what was going on, like from a back seat perspective. But anyway, there's also the scene where the mom goes to this grief group and pretty much spills everything and just tells them, my brother killed himself because he kept saying my mom was trying to put people inside of her, aka getting him possessed by Payman, and he killed himself. And I think that's what she wanted to keep. Also, she was estranged, but I think that had a lot to do with what was going on. But then Charlie dies, and then Payman goes into the mom, and then Peter jumps out a window, kills himself, and then at that moment, Payman leaves the mom and goes into Peter, who's somehow Charlie or something at that point, or they put Charlie back into Peter.
Yeah,
it's a lot of like shuffling around, but it all happens really quickly. But at the end of the movie, it's Peter's body. Charlie's in there as the new Payman host.
right.
It's wild.
And I think they've been I feel like the grandmother, the woman who died, she was like the leader who was like going to conjure up Payman and was like, I'm going to offer my son as Payman's like host or whatever. And then when she started doing that to her son, he killed himself. So then they're like, fuck.
I got that too.
Now
yep.
her grandson's Peter. So then they're like, okay,
no. I thought you were talking the other one, Joan, who's like the leader of the other leader.
Oh, I think she just said that to get close to.
No, I think she might have tried to offer her kids, and her kids also went the same way.
Yeah, it's possible too. But I do think that so then it screwed up like the timeline or whatever. So then they're like, okay, well, it has to be your family because you're the one that chose to do this conjuring or whatever. So now your grandson's gonna have to do it. But then Toni Collette's character keeps Peter from the mom, and I bet there was some ritual they had to do as a baby, and she wouldn't let her near or whatever, so they couldn't do it. So then she has Charlie, and they're like, okay, so they were able to do the ritual on Charlie when she was a baby, get her possessed by Payman, but Payman can't, like, yeah, you're right, she can't survive, or he can't survive in Charlie's body. So then you're right. But then it was like oh, dude, okay, all right. So this is what really stuck out to me. In the classroom, they're talking about Heracles or whatever, some Greek mythology. And the whole thing they're talking about is like, do you feel bad for these pawns who had no choice about the set of circumstances that they were in? So it's just like that, I feel like defines the whole movie. It's just like this tragedy that they're all involved in something that they can't even control no matter what they do. So then it leads to like when you see Charlie when she smashes her head on the post or whatever, it's got that symbol on it, and then there's a dead deer perfectly placed right there. So it's like everything happened for a reason. They had to kill Charlie. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just perfect. Like step by step by step, this all played out the way that this cult, I guess, wanted it to a degree.
Well, yeah. I mean, even the way Joan like faked the seance, like, oh, I gotta show you this seance. It really helped me. Like, it's like, wow, that's your card. It's like, damn, that's dark.
Well, it's playing into her grief.
Yeah.
And the seance thing is real, like, I mean.
Well, hey, we both took Latin. It's like, what do these words mean? It's like, I'm going to find out before I say these out loud. That's what I'm going to do. First off, if I'm going to do a seance, it's like, oh, just say like, septum. So just, no, I'm going to find out what these words mean first. And then maybe it's like, oh, the demon spawn goes in. It's like, no, we're not saying these words. Like, that's what you need to find out first and foremost.
they say it in the movie a bunch. They're like, "What is this language even?" So I don't think it's Latin. I mean, it looks
It's
like
probably Latin. It's probably Latin.
well, she opens the book. That she opens that one book she finds in the attic, and it looks kind of like Hebrew or like Arabic, kind of like sort of like that, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when she opens that book and she's just freaking out, like going through it,
Well,
like that doesn't look.
there's the symbols, obviously, like those like circles, but or like a chain link kind of looking thing. But the
Well,
words on the like scribbled on the wall, it looked something Latin. I couldn't
yeah.
tell.
Yeah, no, you're right. That might be yeah. It's weird though. I looked up Payman after this, and apparently he's like a real, not a real demon or whatever, but he's like a real demon that was written about from like Mesopotamian times. So I was just like, oh shit, like this director went
Right.
back far.
Right. And I think that's another thing you got to realize. This movie's called Hereditary, meaning the grandmother, the mom, the kids, the son that was one. They are the bloodline of Payman. This is a cult that's gone back for thousands of
Mm,
years. That's what I think. And I think Payman needs his bloodline to have a male host for him to come back.
okay, I disagree with one thing. Most of it I agree with, but it says the conjurer will get wealth. So I think this cult has been around for a long time, but I don't think the bloodline necessarily has to be the same. I think that it's like these conjurers want to get whatever they're promised for conjuring up this demon back from hell. But I don't know if it has to be the same bloodline because that could easily end. But it maybe it
That'd
could
be,
be. It could
I
be.
mean, you never know. You never know how far back like cults and protectors go. Like think about like the Mummy. Remember the Mummy? And then
Yeah,
those guys that like were, I forgot what they're called off the top of my head, but they've been protecting this tomb for thousands of years. It's like what? Like
I know.
get security cameras and stuff at this point. Like, but
Yeah, because when they
no,
lost one of them, it's like shit. Like that's a big
yeah,
deal. Like, their guys
yeah.
died. Like because like a direct bloodline.
No,
Uh,
but I don't think it's too far fetched to think
it's
that
not.
there's
Yeah.
thousands. I mean, look at the royal family. Even like just go back to like bloodlines, and I think that Payman, that family is a bloodline of Payman.
I mean, definitely could be. Definitely could be. But dude, how bad do you feel for the fucking dad of this family? That like,
Oh, dude. I mean, it's a couple things that like felt. I mean, this movie had a lot of real parts. There's a lot of things that felt very unrealistic. One, how bad of a mother and how bad of a daughter the main mom was. Like, she doesn't know her mom's into this stuff at this age. Like, do you think she knows?
no, because I think that if you're like they don't really explain about what it was like to grow up with this woman aside from like kind of pretty much bad things. So I think they were estranged for most of her life. So I doubt she was involved in
Okay.
this. And also, if the grandmother is a conjurer, she wants to be able to manipulate her family. What if her daughter like doesn't want to do this? You know, that fucks everything up.
Yeah, and not to say she's a bad mother, but I mean, her daughter is making these like voodoo doll creepy things in her clubhouse or whatever, and pigeon heads are coming into play now. You got to be on that, you know. You can't let that slide.
Yeah, I mean her daughter is like half demon, so I think it's like she can never connect or relate to being a normal person. Her mom just kind of brushes it off as like, "Oh, she's a tomboy and she's just weird at this age, but she'll grow out of it." But it's like she's half demon. Like, you know, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
She is like the spawn. She's like
Yeah,
the
she's a
host
demon. Yeah.
in waiting and like an incubated host for a demon basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though, because it's like the ritual, not funny, but the ritual like gets messed up. So like Charlie, this shouldn't have happened to her. Like it was always supposed to happen to Peter, but by Tony Collette's character keeping Peter away from the grandmother, it's like it screws the whole thing up. So Charlie's like an innocent bystander in this whole thing, and so is the dad basically.
Yeah, and another thing too, that like, doesn't this dad know that he's in this some wacky family? Like, is there ever he's like maybe like what is my wife makes miniatures like this is the grandma's living with us and she's a cult leader kind of like I guess she's doing a good job hiding it from them, but I don't know how zany this family is, but he seemed pretty normal compared to everybody else. Like,
Oh yeah, he seems like a guy that just met her, and he's like, "Oh, she's weird. Like I kind of
yeah,
like her." And then all
yeah.
of a
It's
sudden,
like,
like
what did
now
I
it's like his whole
marry
life.
into? Like, there's none of that. Like,
No, but I mean, well, you see him break down in the car after Peter smashes his face into the thing. Like
oh
he just
yeah.
breaks
Oh, he
down at
just
that
starts
stoplight.
crying and then he's drinking like throughout the movie, taking like
Yeah.
you see him like take pills and then you see him kind of like pop an extra one. It's like, oh shit, like
Dude,
he's
you have to
messed
admit
up.
though, the acting in this movie is
It's
phenomenal.
great. It's great. That's
Dude.
part of why it keeps it so scary, but that's why I have to my brain is trained to be like, what's unreal about this? It's like, oh, come on. You got it. You know your mom. You know your mom's up to some voodoo shit. Like, come on. And also like, your daughter's up to like cutting pigeon heads off and stuff. Like, come on, get in, I don't find that real, but I guess it holds water. I mean, like I don't know.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, you see Tony Collette freak out and run outside. It's like, "What are you doing? You're not wearing your shoes. Like, get back inside. Are you crazy?" Like, they yell at her, and then the dad's like, "Get inside. You're gonna get pneumonia." Like, they do berate her. They don't encourage this behavior. I
Yeah,
mean, they are
yeah.
trying to like get her out of this shit.
Yeah, I thought some of the best acting though was when they're at the dinner table, like just first time
Oh
as a
my god.
family since, and then she calls him out like you should feel bad and you should fess up and like feel like just admit that you did something wrong, and then the son turns it on her and pretty much said like you should too. Like you wanted her to go to this party, she didn't want to go. I didn't want to take
Dude.
her. It's like, oh shit. Like
Yeah.
that's
Fight.
the first domino if you think about it.
I mean, I
Like
guess like she's just trying to do the right thing, but like Peter's just trying to get high and get laid, like it is his fault.
right,
Like this is not.
but main point is this demon cult is ruining this family because they're making all these
Oh
terrible
yeah.
things happen. So it's no one's fault in the family. It's like you said, they set up the deer and they made all that happen. They probably made the cake
Yeah.
have nuts too, which by the way, that cake had some nuts on it. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, what party are they like,
Charlie, like
"I'll cut up all the cashews
Charlie,
for like 45
we've
minutes."
used your EpiPen before. You're allergic to nuts. This cake is like an acorn covered cake. Like, what do you do? Like, right? Wasn't that like, maybe you should ask if this has nuts. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly, but that's the thing. His sister, or I mean, Charlie should have been watched. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the point of him being there. He was off getting high. Like,
that made me like so like oh shit like the brother's like finally like making his move and like getting into his group of friends that he wants to be with, and you just see Charlie eat the cake and then she goes to get water and it's like oh shit you can feel it like the tension like her throat's closing up, and then oh man does that scene just build and pop. Ugh.
yeah, no, yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, what was your reaction when you saw her head hit that post?
I was like oh she's gone. I mean but I was like it was late at night and I was just sitting watching it. I honestly had to stop watching shortly after that and take a break. I like it was like getting close to 1 a.m. and I was like I just need to I can't watch this any further. I think I stopped like right when like the next day like he goes home and lays down and the mom finds, and then it kind of calms down a little bit. I took that as like this is my intermission where I'm gonna just take this piece and try to go to bed and get through the night without having these thoughts in my brain. And then I came back to during the day and watched the rest of it, and the rest of it's no better.
No,
Like,
it's all downhill from there. No, my dude, every time I see it, my jaw drops. I mean, literally every
yeah,
time. I'm just like,
yeah. I was like, oh,
oh my
I needed
god.
to step away. I needed to take a break, and I did watch Rick and Morty right after that for an episode, just like to cleanse my brain.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's a jarring shot, and then obviously when the ants are crawling on her face, you're just like,
Yeah, that
"Oh
was part of it
my
too. Like I saw that too.
god." I mean, that's so brutal. And dude, the fucking shot where literally it's just Peter sitting in bed and you hear like, "I'm gonna go out, I'll be right back in 20 minutes," and then you hear the thud, and she's like, "Oh," and then you just hear the scream, and like you just see him like grab the fucking bed for a second. I was like, "This is
Yeah, but that's what I'm
brutal."
saying. That's what I'm saying. You take the demon stuff out of it, it's a terrible, sad movie of a family that's just a mess,
Oh,
right?
oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah,
that's
but
a
yeah,
night. That's like everyone's
exactly.
biggest nightmare. That's everyone's biggest
Oh my
nightmare.
god. It's dude, hearing Toni Collette cry, I literally started tearing up. She's like, "I wanna die. I don't want."
Yeah,
I was just like,
dude.
"Oh my
And
god,
the
this
husband was
is
right there,
brutal.
like I don't even know what to do. Like, and he's
What do
hurting
you
too. That's his
do?
daughter as well. So it's just like I don't even know what to do. Poor guy's like,
What do you do?" Like, in that scene, it's like your son accidentally killed your daughter. Like, good god. It's like, that is the worst situation ever.
yeah.
Ugh. And this is, like, right after her mom died. It's just like, this can't. It's
And right
just
after she's already going to grief counseling, it's like, damn, dude, like that's too much. This woman
yeah,
can't take
yeah,
it. So yeah, I mean I think that's the reason why I don't want to watch this again, because it was just so jarring and so vividly terrible. But it's a good movie. There's no way around it. There's no way I can knock it. I think the acting's great, like you said. The story's great. It's just a tough watch, you know. That's the best way to put it. It's a good movie, but it's a tough watch. Like
yeah,
I saw
man.
Schindler's List. I don't want to watch Schindler's List again ever again. But like it's like a movie that you see and it's a great movie, you know, stuff like that. This yeah, but you get my point. Was what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So
No, I know. I think this for like a modern horror film, this is up there, you know, like this is
Hmm.
it's very scary. It's very well done. I mean, just like, dude, I like cannot believe Toni Collette didn't get nominated for Best Actress. Like this,
I wonder
I
if it's
thought was
because
just so good.
I mean, there's other horror movies that are just as disturbing for the time. Like The Exorcist, like was so acclaimed like, by the Oscars and whatnot. You'd feel like a horror movie would get more attention, but the last movie that's really gotten any award love is probably what Get Out, and what's the other movie? Parasite was also kind of. Would you count?
I wouldn't really say Parasite's like
Yeah,
a horror
yeah,
film. That's more like a
thriller. Yeah.
psychological thriller, I guess. But yeah, Get Out got nominated. I really think that this is right up there with Get Out. I mean, it's so original.
Oh, I like Get
It's
Out better. I like Get Out
terrifying.
better, man. It's better.
It's
It's better for
different.
me.
It's
Yeah.
very different.
I like the humor in Get Out as well. I thought it
Right.
was
There's no humor.
there's nothing in this that's
There's
likable.
not 1 second of humor in this movie.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what kind of horror movie do you want? Do you want one like think about it like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's no levity in that either. There's no levity in this. I mean, it is just I mean, that's the thing. I think this movie's non-stop. Like
Yeah.
you every second you're like, what's gonna happen? What is going on? Like, and I think it's so scary. The way it's shot is so
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, even the opening shot for sure.
Oh my god, the opening shot's amazing. How it's like it shows the clubhouse and then pans into her studio and then goes into the dollhouse and then the scene starts. Like,
That's like
dude,
Mr. Rogers.
that's
Like
but think about like that's your opening shot to your directorial debut. Like that's
that's pretty
epic.
good. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Also, I one other thing I want to say, acting wise, the actor who plays Peter,
yeah.
phenomenal job. Like he had me like really like thinking. The way he dead stared past the camera, looking like he's zoning out, but he's zoning out. He's like thinking is so
Yeah,
so powerful. And man, he does need to he needs to shower and shampoo his hair. It looked like someone just took syrup all in his hair and just greased it up. But
Well, apparently he went method for this movie, and when he smashed his face or whatever, that was like
oh
real. Like that was
damn.
actual real blood.
So he busted his nose.
I think that's real.
Like
I
Andrew
don't know. I mean,
WK, just straight up, just break my nose, like just do it. Let's do it live.
well, yeah. I mean, apparently he was in character the whole time, and then there was a part of it where there was like a Shakespeare line that he was like, "You can't say this line. It's like bad luck or whatever. You can't say this line." And then the director just kind of like said it like just to be a dick or whatever. And then the next scene, like a light just burst on set. I mean, that's not that bad, but I don't know. I guess he took this role very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, how
Um,
old is he in this film? Do you
I
know?
mean, the actor
Just the
or the
actor. I mean,
character?
that character's got to be somewhere like
Um,
16 to 18.
he was 21.
Okay.
21. Yeah. So damn. Yeah, very
Yeah,
very
really
impressive.
impressive. But when you're a young kid and you're doing a movie about demons, you want to tread lightly. Like it is a creepy thing to get involved with.
Yeah, I think all around the acting was just fantastic. I don't think there's one moment. Even the woman that played Joan, like I love her, dude.
Is
She's in
she?
Handmaid's
Yeah, I've
Tale
seen
and The
the Leftovers.
Leftovers.
That's where I knew her from. Yes.
Yeah, and Dowd, dude. She is just fantastic in everything she does. She's so
She
freaking
made
good,
it like
man.
it's a hard role to play, but she made it really believable. And she had to do a
Yeah.
good job
So
lying, like pretending, like acting lying like that. Where even when she
yeah.
like got caught with the floor mat, like, oh, my grandma has a mat just like this. Like, really? How strange. That's like how she like just delivered that line was so good.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I know. I love that. I love just her whole attitude about everything. But there's one shot, I don't know, I wanted to know if you noticed it. Right towards the end where it shows the outside of the house at day and then it flashes to
It
night
did
really
that
quick and it's the
it did
same
that a
shot.
couple times towards the end. Yeah, I saw that. That shot's really good. Yeah.
Did you notice the last time it does that, what happens when it goes to night?
I didn't know like right then what happens?
So it goes from day, it's showing the house. This is like literally the last like 10 minutes of the movie. It goes from day, shows the exterior of the house, then it flashes to night and it's still showing the exterior, and then it goes to the inside and it's like Peter just wakes up. Right then, dude, there's all of the naked cultists are surrounding the house. They're just
I
like
did not
scattered
notice
throughout, dude.
that. That's so creepy. I did not notice that. It was hard
Ugh.
to see from my TV, honestly. Like there's that other scene where you see like one of the first time you see one of the naked people in like the hallway when the mom's about to jump
Oh,
down from the ceiling. Yeah,
yeah.
dude, this movie, man. Now I'm thinking of it again.
Dude, when she's smashing her head on the ceiling,
Yeah,
I was like, dude, Dude, I was freaking out because I was like, even thinking, I was like, wait, how is she doing that so fast? I was like, she's not even close to the ceiling. And then all of a sudden she's just on the ceiling. Dude, and when he finds his dead dad and she's behind him on the ceiling, that was so
I was scared, but
scary.
the piano wire kind of really culminated it. I was like, I can't. The noise, the sound
Oh,
effects. It's like imagine being the poor editor, like the sound editor. It's like okay, like more gush, but like less when she goes back. Like more gush when she goes in.
yeah.
It's like, all right, dude, can we just call it? Like, can we post it? Like, just publish it, man.
Dude,
Oh God.
it's fucked up movie. But dude, you want to even know what's more fucked up? Is why didn't they just call the ambulance when they were at the party? Like, think about how selfish those kids are. Like, dude, you can't have an ambulance come here. They'll like
That
see that we're
was.
smoking weed and
Did they even
drinking.
have that scene? Did they?
No, they didn't, but that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened, dude. Why would Charlie think or why would Peter think that he could do that faster than an ambulance and not, like, just have her get picked up by the ambulance? They probably have stuff in the ambulance to help her, and instead of driving her to a hospital, dude, that oh my god, I was just, like,
I didn't even
thinking
think of
about
that
how
either. That's what happened. Yeah. I just thought
yeah, dude,
this
all
kid
those
freaked
kids.
out. And he thought she only had like minutes to live, and that's why he booked it.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Get her an
yeah,
ambulance. That's way smarter. So, yeah, those kids must be like, "Dude, get your sister out of here, man."
yeah. Shit. Well, he was also
Yeah, man.
high too.
So
He was high. So
that, like, whole scene, like, it's just, like, you can't look away where he, like, just drives home and just gets up and goes into bed and just, like, stares at, like,
like I
nothing. You're
just
just
need
like,
to sleep
"Oh
it
my
off and
god."
just like pray it was a nightmare, like kind of attitude or
Oh,
something. Like
dude, it's
it's a
brutal,
brutal
brutal.
movie. Yeah, yeah,
And then the way it ends, you're just like, "So there's no hope.
yeah. This
No
is
hope."
the bad guys win, and boy do they ever.
Well, if you ever watch it
Sorry.
again, I think there's a lot you'll see a lot, man. Like, you'll see things that, like, you're like, "Oh, I forgot about. Oh, that makes way more sense now," sort of thing.
Yeah,
If you ever wanna give it a shot.
I think I'm good, but maybe someday, if I'm like really happy and need to be like turned down a notch, maybe I'll watch this again. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, really quick, any sequel ideas?
No, nothing, man. No, I mean, let me think. I mean, the only thing I can like think of like a direct sequel is a couple years later. You know, you see this guy starting to get into payments, starting to get into like cryptocurrency or something, and he's starting to get all of these riches and becoming the next Elon Musk, like rising into power. And we kind of have this like dramatic irony where we know, but the people who are in the movie don't know, and we're just like watching it, and there's a group of people trying to stop him is what like this, so it becomes like the demon cult versus like the church folk that know what's going on, kind of like the Omen in a sense.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's kinda like the Omen
Yeah,
3.
no, exactly, like that's the best way I could I mean that's the direction that it's going in, but yeah, I don't know, or maybe just go straight to like a desolate like apocalyptic world caused by him and like a group of people coming to try to fight him, like
Hmm.
go like full on road warrior with it.
It's just like the army of hell on
Yeah.
earth battling angels and stuff now. It just goes crazy. Actually, you said something earlier that I was like, "Oh, that would be a cool, like, prequel idea." And basically, it's like they show the son, like, what happened with him where she was trying to possess, like, the grandmother trying to possess her own son and what happened and went wrong, and then maybe showing
Doing the
Joan
same
trying to do the
thing.
same thing. It would be pretty cool, but just seeing, like, what went wrong and then having Joan
Joan
try it
trying to
and
do
then,
it to her
like
son and then her grandson, and because she says both her son and grandson drowned.
yeah, she doesn't say if it was together. She doesn't say what happened, so yeah.
I mean, you'd imagine it was like a boating accident
Yeah.
or a swimming accident or something. Definitely wasn't, right? Definitely wasn't, but yeah.
No, I'd probably drown them. But I think this is a good movie. I don't know. I think if you wanna put yourself through an experience, it's not like many things, you can't replicate this feeling. It's a movie.
We'll make sure Midsummer is on the next wheel, hopefully, and we'll get another dose of this.
There's more levity in that one. I promise you that.
Okay.
It's a little bit lighter. And all takes place during the day, so you can see brightly.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
nice. Summer, right? It's a summer movie,
it
right?
is definitely a summer movie.
Is it that movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and he's like, "Oh, that's 500 Days of Summer." Never
No,
mind, or
no, it's
300.
not that one. Very different from that one.
Yeah, I bet it's like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, we only have one movie left on the wheel. We have A Quiet Place.
Can't even spin it. Can't even spin it.
No. So I believe we have Steve Rocha joining us on that one.
Hopefully, I'm gonna text him right after this, and we'll see if we can get him on. But looking forward to that next week.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening in, and we'll see you next week with A Quiet Place.